Here is a genuinely strange historical fact. In September 1752 in Britain and its colonies, the calendar jumped straight from the 2 and to the 14th. 11 days in the middle simply did not happen. Nobody lived them. They were deleted. Why? Hold that question, because the answer is the last thing I will tell you, and it quietly explains the calendar hanging on your wall right now. Start with what a calendar is really trying to do. Keep our months and years lined up with the actual motion of the earth around the sun. And here is the catch that causes all the trouble. A year is not a neat whole number of days. The earth takes about 365 and a quarter days to circle the sun. That leftover quarter is tiny, and over centuries it wrecks everything. The Romans, under Julius Caesar, took the first serious swing at this. Their fix was the leap year, add one extra day every 4 years to mop up all those leftover quarters. It was clever and simple, and for a long time it seemed to work perfectly. But it was very slightly wrong, and that tiny error is the hidden seed of our vanished days. Because a year is not exactly 365 and a quarter days, it is a tiny bit less than that. So the Julian calendar added just a hair too much time every single year. 1 day is nothing. But run that error for over 1,000 years, and the calendar slowly drifted away from the sun until the date on the page was more than a week out of step with the real seasons. Easter was sliding towards summer. And this was not some trivial annoyance. For the church, the date of Easter was sacred, fixed to the spring. Watching it drift year by year toward the wrong season was, to them, a slow-motion emergency. The heavens and the calendar were coming apart, and someone had to force them back together. So in 1582, Pope Gregory XIII reformed the calendar. He did two things. First, he tightened the leap year rule, skipping it on certain century years so the drift could never build up again. And second, more drastically, he had to delete the days that had already been lost to snap the calendar back into line with the sun in one jump. Countries that adopted it at once simply erased 10 days from that year. Now, you would assume the whole world switched together. It did not, and this is where it gets genuinely messy. Because the reform came from the Catholic Pope, Protestant countries refused it for centuries out of pure religious suspicion. So for over 150 years, Catholic and Protestant Europe literally lived on different dates. Cross a border, and you could step 10 days into the past or the future. Which finally brings us back to those vanished 11 days. Britain, stubbornly Protestant, held out until 1752, by which point the gap had grown from 10 days to 11. So when it finally switched, it had to delete not 10 days but 11 all at once. Wednesday the Sanctumber was followed, by law, by Thursday the 14th. That is why those days never happened. And people did not take it calmly. There is a lasting story that crowds protested, believing the government had literally stolen 11 days of their lives, shortening their time on earth. Whether or not they truly rioted in the streets, the confusion was real and deep over rents and wages and birthdays and deaths. To ordinary people, time itself had just been rewritten by decree. Which is the quiet truth beneath the calendar you completely trust. It is not a natural, eternal thing. It is a patched, corrected, politically fought over human invention, adjusted by emperors and popes, that drifted and broke and had to have days surgically removed to keep it aligned with the sky. So, the question I asked you to hold, why did the 3rd of September, 1752 never happen? Because for centuries, our calendar had been quietly running fast, and the only way to fix it was to reach in and delete the days it had wrongly counted. In 1752, 11 days simply vanished and people rioted, believing their very lives had been shortened.